Imagine crawling deep into a pyramid, step by step into the dark, and then lying down where a king's body once rested. And realizing the afterlife wasn't really about pleasing the gods, it was about holding on to life, even after death. Not answers, just the questions we keep burying. If you've ever looked at religion and thought, wait, what? You're in the right place. Today we're heading to the pyramids of Egypt to ask, why do humans build monuments to death? What does that say about faith, about spirituality beyond religion, and maybe about us? Stick with me, because what looks like stone and dust might actually be a mirror into how we deal with life's biggest question. Welcome to Around the World of Faith, a space for the spiritually curious, the questioners, and the deconstructors. The pyramids are some of the oldest religious structures and one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, built to guarantee that pharaohs would live forever. But here's the paradox. All that power, all that money, all that labor, millions of stones stacked sky high, and the bodies inside still turn to dust. And yet, these monuments still draw us in, even thousands of years later. Why? Because whether you're into God, nature, humanity, or just the raw mystery of existence, the pyramids raise the same question religions still wrestle with today. How do we face death without flinching? Here's where it gets strange, and strangely human. The pharaohs believed they could secure eternity with stuff, gold, sacred texts, even servants. Some tombs took decades to build, using tens of thousands of laborers. The Great Pyramid alone stood as the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. But in the end, you can't bribe the universe. You can't slip death a tip and hope it seats you in first class for eternity. The logic falls apart. But the desire behind it, the refusal to be forgotten, that hits close to home. And before we laugh too hard at the pharaohs, we might to admit this longing to outwit death, to make it mean something, shows up in every religion, every culture, across all time. The pyramids weren't some strange exception. All over the world, people have left behind signs, some carved in stone, others tucked into graves, but they all basically say the same thing. We were here, and we don't want it to end. In Turkey, the mausoleum at Halikarnassus, another of the 7 wonders, was so grand it gave us the word mausoleum, a tomb meant to secure a ruler's place in eternity. In Xi'an, China, the tomb of the first Qin emperor includes 8,000 life-size terracotta soldiers guarding his tomb. The Taj Mahal, one of today's 7 wonders, built in memory of a beloved wife, is both a tomb and a love letter meant to echo paradise in marble. Across ancient Japan, Korea, and parts of Europe, burial mounds rose like earth-made pyramids, covered graves packed with goods, weapons, or sacred objects to guide the dead. And in Christianity, the bones of saints and martyrs were tucked beneath cathedrals, entire buildings raised to honor bodies believed to still carry divine power. But it's not just kings and empires that try to cheat death. In ancient Greece, families placed coins on the eyes of the dead, hoping to pay their passage across the river Styx. Vikings sent off their warriors with swords, shields, and sometimes entire ships, because who wants to arrive in Valhalla empty-handed? And indigenous people often buried the dead with tools, beads, or sacred bundles. Even now we do it, just in quieter ways. A war medal slipped into a coffin, a wedding ring left on a finger, a letter folded and buried with a parent. Different symbols, same longing to stay connected, to keep some part of a person or ourselves alive. And then there's the 21st century version, scheduled emails from the grave, Instagram accounts that live on like ghost towns, and full-on digital avatars trained on our text history. Apparently, even in death, we still can't log off. I've been to the pyramids 3 times now. Once, when I was younger, a friend and I bribed a guard who took us to the top of one of the big ones. We climbed in the moonlight, then stood in the dark, staring out at the lights of Cairo like it was some ancient rooftop bar. Another time, my son brought along a box of Harry Potter jelly beans and offered them to the touts outside. They had no idea what they were in for. One bite could be cherry or cotton candy or vomit. They loved it. Well, my kids loved it. As a family, we marveled at the Sphinx, climbed on the pyramids, rode camels in the desert, and took 100 photographs of this ancient wonder of the world. My kids ran around laughing, turning the ruins into their playground. But for me, well, we dug through low tunnels with steep stairways down. We found an empty burial chamber, just a stone box now. We lay down where a pharaoh's body once rested, and for a moment, the world went silent. Outside, camel rides and jelly beans. Inside, the weight of eternity. All of it, thousands of years, endless labor, unfathomable wealth, built for one man's fear of dying. But maybe there's more to it than wasted stone. Maybe the pharaohs were onto something we still need today. What if the pyramids weren't just monuments to ego, but to longing? The longing to matter. The longing to not just disappear into dust. And maybe that's what religion at its best is still trying to do. Not erase death, but help us stare it down with courage and ritual. For me, faith isn't about bribing a god or buying eternity. It's about finding meaning in the inevitable. I don't have answers, but I do have hope. That whether you call it God, love, humanity, or the cosmos, the story doesn't end with despair. And if you've ever wondered about death or doubted the stories religion told you, you are not alone. I promise you, you are not alone. Please like and subscribe or drop a comment. I'd love to hear from fellow wanderers. Seriously, I'd love to know, what do you think happens after we die? And more importantly, what do you hope happens? If this resonated with you, check out my other video on the Paris catacombs, another place where bones tell a bigger story than religion. Thank you.